Alright, what's up? Thorgon here, and today we're going to be doing Melee Crystal Sword 65% PDR Sorcerer. Now, let's just get right into it. For our perks and skills, we're going to be running Spell Merge, so that we can teleport on top of people. Spell Sculpting, so that our Electrosphere and Teleport have increased range, as well as our, whatever it's called, Frost Lightning. We're running Time Distortion so that we can quickly cast our buffs and then teleport on top of somebody. And we're running Mana Flow because these stacks don't just affect spell casts, which means if you have 3 stacks, you just have 30% more magical power bonus until you cast something else, which means our Crystal Sword gets that 30% damage bonus as if we had 30 more will or magic power, meaning we don't have to build will or magic power on this set. We can focus on survivability. In this case, we're getting health and PDR. On higher gear score kits, you'll probably want to try to get some dexterity or more health, or run faster items and just roll more armor and health as rolls on those items. Optionally, you can get rid of spell sculpting and run Merge to Might, so that when you teleport in on people, you can stay on them better. For spells, we're keeping 1 slot of Suppressed Sorcery so that we can attack with our Crystal Sword, Electrosphere for additional damage and slowing our targets, Lightning Bolt to allow us to either teleport in combination with Vortex or cast Frost Lightning to kite or hold someone in place with Ice Spear. We're running Water Bolt in order to kite better or combine with Fire Arrows for Elemental Bolt, which is one of your bread and butter pokes and it does a lot of damage. Stone Skin, which gives us 15% PDR and 5% physical damage bonus, but we lose 5 move speed, but that's not really a problem. We run Summon Earth Elemental for 30 armor. We run Glaciate because it applies Frostbite on our opponents, which will reduce their move speed and let us stay on them better, and reduce their action speed by 20%, which allows us to outtrade them better in melee. We run Ice Spear. It can be poked, but we're mainly running it for Frost Lightning because that's a really good merge spell. Running Vortex to optionally get people off us, either on its own, combined with Electrosphere, or to just teleport on top of people with Lightning Bolt. And then we're running Fire Arrow so that we can either poke with Fire Arrow alone or combine with Water Bolt for Elemental Bolt. Now at 65% PDR, you're probably thinking, isn't this just a worse fighter? Well, yes and no. If you have your buffs up, it can be a bit better. It can do a lot of damage against many classes because you're getting multiple scalings on your true damage for magic, because your Electrosphere is going to be doing extra damage, which allows that to add up with the Crystal Sword swings, so you can put out competitive damage to race other melee classes. This also makes it so ranged classes have a harder time getting away from you when you're on them. On top of that, Glaciate is going to help you outtrade other melee classes and stay on top of ranged classes, because the 20% action speed debuff is going to let you swing faster than your opponent and prevent them from getting a swing or two, which on top of your PDR reduces a lot of their damage output. Now, how armor works in this game is that it is capped at 65%, which means we want to get 50% before the PDR added by Stone Skin. And if you check out the wiki, that means for the armor curve, you need to get 246 armor rating, which will put you at 50% PDR. And at lower gear scores, it's a bit harder to get all of that armor. So we're running Summon Earth Elemental, which gives us 30, which means we only have to get 216 armor before we get into game. And if you'll see here, somewhere, we have 216 armor rating, which means we'll get 30 from the Golem, which puts us up to 50%, and then Stone Skin will give us the last 15 to get us to 65%. Now, to get into 2-2-4 lobbies, you can run a purple 2-hander, legendary locket, and then everything else can be blue, and that leaves you enough space for a single surgical kit. You'll see that our magic power bonus is only 13%, but that doesn't matter because if you get your stacks right when you go in, you will have a 43% magic power bonus with your Crystal Sword out, which is pretty big. Now, the rolls we went for are just enough spell memory to use all of our items, or to use all of our spells, I mean. You would be able to do so if you found a 4 additional memory capacity heavy leather leggings instead of 3 knowledge, but I couldn't find one of those with all attributes, so I just took the 3 knowledge and then put spell memory on the boots as well. We kind of gave up on movement speed since we're already slow as hell and we're relying on Electrosphere and Frostbite to keep up with our opponents. Besides these two, pretty much everything else is just armor rating. We got true damage on every piece applicable, including the gloves, because that will apply to the sword, and then the true damage on the rings, helmet, amulet, and cape will apply to our spells and our crystal sword swings. We went with a wind locket to get us enough armor to hit that 65% cap. We grabbed all attributes on every piece possible, and then that covers all of the armor. For the sword, I looked for health and action speed. I got lucky and I found one with move speed bonus for pretty cheap. And then I'll show you all the gear a little bit slower here and put the prices for what I bought it for on screen. Some of it was pretty lucky to find, but others you could probably find pretty common or better. All right, without further ado, let's get into some games. All right, so there's a theme you're gonna notice throughout a lot of these clips, and that theme is that I'm kind of doo-doo at playing this build right now. I'm not used to the amount of hits I can tank and what my damage output is at this time, which means I play very scared. And what that also means is I've been taking several hits before I even start to fight back. But I still win those fights, which just goes to show if you take the time to learn the build better and keep track of your damage output, you can probably beat the crap out of a lot of strong builds. Well, alright, if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe if you want to see my next videos. Later.